Hi everyone, this is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time, and I have a question for you. Do you think we have equal opportunity in this country? Do you think all of us have access to the same opportunities? I think most of us would agree that the answer to that question is no. The rich have access to opportunities that the poor simply do not have. The poor are stuck in this cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right here. The cycle of poverty prevents the poor from being able to escape that cycle and get access to the systems that only the rich can access. I believe that we live in a rigged system. The rich have access to the best deals, they have access to the best data, they have access to the best interest rates, whereas the poor tend to remain stuck in a cycle of poverty and in many cases don't even know what they are missing out on. You've heard me talk about this before on our channel. I do believe that the system is rigged. And one of the reasons I started the Ignition Time channel, which by the way is about the country, it's about the economy, and it's about your money. One of the reasons I started this channel was to help you understand how the system works so that you can leverage the system in your favor honestly and ethically, and then take advantage of a system which is fundamentally rigged. It's kind of ironic that I'm talking about taking advantage of a system that is rigged in an honest and ethical manner. Because to be honest, you can be unethical and do things that you're not supposed to, and that's how people get into trouble. I want us to understand how to work the system by getting access to the best interest rates, by getting access to the best deals, and that's what I cover more and more of on our channel. An important person who actually talked about this today is a member of the White House Council on Economic Advisor, Jared Bernstein. He said America has to be a land of equal opportunity, and he also said that there is a significant amount of unused capacity in our economy. You've heard me talk about this before. Individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality have lost their jobs permanently. There's a significant gender disparity, and there's a significant racial gap as far as unemployment is concerned. And what's horrific is that long-term unemployment is on the rise. For many of us, we simply need quick cash now. We're looking for our second or third stimulus check. We want to be able to pay our bills. We need to be able to find a way to make money so that we can pay rent, so that we can keep the lights on, so that we can simply put food on the table. Let's take a look at this segment from Jared Bernstein, where he talks about the disparity that exists and the fact that most stimulus checks are necessary as fast as possible to try and make our economy bigger and better than before. Let's roll the tape.
This is key from my perspective as an economist who throughout my career has been motivated and concerned. I think the theme of my work has always been making sure that this economy, that our economy, the American economy, provides ample opportunities for people from all walks of life, from all parts of the income scale, men and women, persons of color, communities of color, have the opportunities they need to realize their potential. And right now, there is deep unused capacity in this economy, which is targeted by the American Rescue Plan. There are 10 million unemployed people. There are 2.5 fewer women in the labor force than last year. As I mentioned, Black and Hispanic unemployment rates are 9%. We've got a job market in stall. The risk is a deflationary risk, which motivates us to go home or to go big or to go home. And the costs of inaction, of not addressing these risks, are too steep and too costly to these vulnerable groups relative to the likelihood of overheating. That's the way I think about it.
Now, folks, the next segment is very important because the American Rescue Plan, this whopping $1.9 trillion package right here, that is a lot of money. $1.9 trillion is just the first step as far as the Biden administration is concerned. The second step is the Build Back Better agenda, where President Biden is going to focus on infrastructure. I think this is a very strategic thing to do, and I'll tell you why. The Republicans also want to do infrastructure. They want newer roads. They want better bridges. They want an improvement in all the systems, not just the technological systems in our country. And by the way, I can think of no better system that needs improvement than the unemployment benefits software across states in our country. I believe that in the next 2 to 5 years, the unemployment benefits software of all states across the country are going to be completely revamped because some of these systems are 40, 50 years old. This kind of blows my mind. This is the home. The United States of America is the home of Amazon. It's the home of Microsoft. It's the home of Facebook. It's the home of Google. In this country, our unemployment benefits system that are designed to serve the taxpayer, the low income, the middle income taxpayer who is subject to unemployment through no fault of their own, those systems are outdated. So I do believe that that is something that we are going to see change. I think it's very smart for the Democrats to focus on something that is popular, because more and more Americans are waiting for the stimulus checks. There's a lot of anticipation for the stimulus money. And then, after that, work on something bipartisan. This is very strategic political maneuver on the part of the Democrats, where they focus on what is popular first, the American Rescue Plan, the massive $1.9 trillion stimulus package. And then, after that, they focus on something that is bipartisan. They focus on the infrastructure plan, which is the Build Back Better plan, which we'll hear the administration talk about in the next 3 to 6 months, where they focus on our roads, on our bridges, on aspects of our Navy, on aspects of our military, on aspects of our Air Force. So you can actually hear Jared Bernstein talk about this in the next segment, where he says, rescue must be followed by recovery, and Republicans want infrastructure. And he says that some Republicans confided to him that Trump didn't have a plan. Pretty incredible comments about the American Rescue Plan, to be followed by the Build Back Better agenda, rescue followed by recovery. This is pretty interesting political maneuvering from the administration. Let's roll the tape and hear what Bernstein had to say today.
One other question on Larry Summers' criticism, not to belabor this point, but he also raises some questions about your future agenda. He notes that you will have committed 15% of GDP with this bill, with basically no increase in public investments. Is this a concern going forward? Where will you find the money to build back better, as the president has promised?
You know, I think the way President Biden talks about this is not just resonant, but is also follows an economic logic that I think is very strong. Rescue, recovery. The rescue plan, the American Rescue Plan, gets this economy and the families and the businesses in it to the other side of this crisis by finally controlling the virus, producing, distributing the vaccine, and giving people the relief they need to get to the other side. But simply getting back to where we were is a bar that's far too low for the Biden-Harris administration. And that's where Building Back Better and the recovery plan comes in. These are structural changes, by the way, many of which, as the president has said, permanent programs should be paid for. So these are structural programs that, not in a cyclical sense, dealing with kind of getting to the other side of the crisis, but deal with the structural challenges we face in climate, in education, in care, in poverty, in racial discrimination. And I am, and infrastructure, I am wholly confident in this president and this administration's ability to go forth and make a strong case for rescue now, get the economy the other side of the crisis, pursue the recovery, the Building Back Better agenda. As I say, I'm confident about that. One point, and then I'll stop. Infrastructure, I get asked about this a lot. And the implication kind of the question is that, well, infrastructure is a Democrat thing and you'll have a hard time with that. Let me tell you a little anecdote. I was testifying sometime a year or two ago in the House. And when I finished my testimony, a couple of Republicans, and I won't name them because this was a private moment, pulled me aside and said, hey, Democrat, come here. And they said, we want to do infrastructure, but we can't do it because our boss, President Trump, doesn't have a plan. The plan was really an asterisk. I guarantee you, there are politicians on both sides of the aisle who are champing at the bit to make investments in public goods in this country, to do an infrastructure bill that repairs not just maintenance, but gets into clean energy, into broadband, into the kinds of investments that you've heard the president talk about. So I am confident that we work on rescue now, we'll get to recovery next.
That's it, everyone. Let me know what you think of the entire approach of rescue followed by recovery. The American Rescue Plan followed by the Build Back Better agenda. Thank you so much for watching. Please click like, please subscribe. It really helps out the YouTube algorithm. That brings a big smile to my face, and that just makes my day. That single action you take can help the YouTube algorithm, and I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thanks. Bye.